everybody. This is the outside of the Imperial Palace. This is the Kita Hanebashi Gate, or Kita Hanebashi Mon, which is the side of the tower. I'll give you a quick look at the entrance of where we're going. This is the outer wall of what used to be Tokyo Castle, or Edo-jo. It was called Tokyo Castle for a couple of years after the Meiji Restoration. So we're going to go inside and take a look and see anything about the history that we can learn. This park is closed on Mondays and Fridays, so do take note of that. We're here on a Sunday. Hello. Arigato. So you have to take an admission ticket when you come in. It tells you the time. Please get out of here by 4:30 p.m. and return this when you get out, so they know how many people are here. Pretty cool. Don't lose that. This happens to be the wall where the Edo Castle was situated on top of. This is all that's left. And Edo Castle, I'm going to show you the map in a second, but I printed out what Edo Castle used to look like. And you can see right here on the base of the castle, that's the wall right behind me. And not a lot of it has survived, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the history as we walk. Take a look at the map of the park here. This is the East Gardens of the Imperial Palace, they call it in English. And you can see we're here at Kita Hanebashi Mon, which is the north gate. And this is where the ruins are here. And we're gonna go inside. Yeah, so this is what the castle used to look like, but it was destroyed by fire, like most castles. They're made out of wood, and when old buildings in Japan burned down, it was sort of normal. I mean, you kind of expected it, whether it was lightning or fire or something happening in the kitchen. Things in Japan, they were made out of natural things like stone and wood, and you know, a lot of the history did not survive, either because of earthquakes and fires and things that happen, natural disasters, or because of this park. I come here at this time of year almost every year, and it's because they have ume blossoms, cherry blossoms. It's before the cherry blossoms. They're called plum blossoms, and they bloom in the gardens around what used to be Edo Castle. But instead of showing you just the flowers, which we're gonna do, I thought I would bring you around here and show you a little bit of the history of the city of Tokyo. And a lot of you who don't have a lot of time might not make it to the ruins of Edo-jo, Tokyo Castle. So I'll do that for you in this live stream. So take a look around. We're gonna go actually up there onto the base and get a view of the garden and the surrounding park. Most of everything let me run down the history for you. So Edo Castle was built, I believe, in the year 1457 by a man that I introduced you to in a stream a few days ago, Ota Dokan. And the castle grew when Ieyasu Tokugawa became the shogun. He united the country. A lot of the daimyo from all over Japan had quote-unquote like embassies or offices here around the moat, around the walls, inside of the walls. And they would do commerce and business, and Ieyasu's government would be able to communicate with the daimyos all right here at the castle. Now that ended, of course, when the Meiji Restoration took place, which was 1868, and that's when the shogun and everybody had to vacate the premises. They had an eviction notice, they had to leave, because this area turned into what is now the residence for the emperor, who lives just over yonder. Just over there somewhere. We of course cannot go into there, and can't knock on the door and ask for a cup of tea or anything like that, but he does reside over there. A very highly respected person in Japan, and somebody that we respect. And in moments of great and I have a lot of respect for the emperor too, because in moments of great trials for the country of Japan, when the politicians fail, it's the emperor who can step in. It's that sound of reason, and he can step in and make things unite the country. And he's done that several times. So he gives a speech during New Year's, I believe, as well, and it is an honor to when you get a chance to see him when he's out and about. They make royal trips. But what used to be Edo Castle here is now just ruins, and that happened in so the shogun was evicted in 1868, and then just 5 years later, I think it was 1873, there was a big fire that just it burned everything down, and what was left was ruins. And then because there was no need for a castle anymore, they never rebuilt it. So we're gonna go up here and take a look at the view from the base of the ruins. Japan has lots of castle ruins, but this one is sort of significant because of the history behind it, because this is where Tokugawa shogunate was positioned. There are little pieces of history, maps, and information in English too. This is the Edo Castle Honmaru Goten Palace. Yeah.
ここは残ってたわけだね。そうだね。じゃあ将軍はまあここにいたり、ここを行き来してたのか。可能性はあるね。まあこういう世界になっちゃうとここは狭いわな、確かに。確かにね。
This is where it was. The Tenshukaku donjon base. As you can see, people seem to really love to rub it. It's rubbed till it's gone. But we're here, and from this mark, this is what you used to be able to see. And I can sort of close my eyes and imagine just the view of all of these wood buildings and roofs with smoke coming out of it, people cooking things, and fires happening all around here as commerce and trade and people were buying things. It was just an active place inside of the walls. And this is the view now. What you have over here is Otemachi, Marunouchi. Down there is Shimbashi. Tokyo Tower is over here. And there's a lot of office buildings. So commerce still takes place, just in more modern structures with air conditioning. Yeah. So once again, this place burned down in 1783. I'm sorry, in 1875. I believe in 1873 or 1875. I'll put a link in the description for the history so we get it right, and definitely read the comments, because there's a lot of history buffs that will leave some comments behind and give you additional information, the stuff that I'm not gonna be able to supply to you, because yeah, I live here. I've visited this several times, but I'm definitely no history major. I do appreciate the history around me. All right, we're at the top here. Let me give you a quick look. People from all around the world. I hear a lot of languages that are not Japanese or English. Oh, I think I used to be able to go up there and sit off of the base and look over at the park. Yeah. Thank you, Hillary Okello. Thank you very much. And Dan Hassan. So Dan asks me, I'm going to just take a second. It's a good question. Dan asks me about non-Western hotels in Japan, in Tokyo. You know, the Okura Hotel is one of the most, and that's not too far away. That's one of the more famous Japanese hotel chains that they still have tatami rooms in there, but most of them are Western. I think if you leave Tokyo and you go to what's called a ryokan, you'll be able to find a very traditional Japanese experience, and that usually comes with 2 meals, and a ryokan is about 14,000 to 22,000 yen, or about 130 to $180 a night. That includes 2 meals and a beautiful room, amazing services, and I have 2 videos that I made last month on that experience. And lots of live streams actually showing you some traditional rooms. I can't really recommend anything in Tokyo. Probably it's going to be up near Ueno, Asakusa, this area, if you want to find something traditional. Down in Shinjuku, Shibuya, this area, Shinagawa, it's all very Western. So you're going to want to stay up in the north of Tokyo, or get out of Tokyo. Because as you can see, it is very modern. the city of Tokyo, and most people, you know, it's kind of a hassle to stay in a Japanese ryokan. There's a lot of culture, tradition, things you have to do. People want to relax, and in a Western hotel, it's sort of get in and get out. Although they do have amazing 5-star hotels just over here, like the Imperial Hotel, which is where the President of the United States and the Queen Elizabeth usually stays, and it's just about a 15-minute walk near Hibiya Park. It's not too far away. So this is where the castle used to be. Now a lot of people have, it's hard to say what the exact height of what Edo Castle was, but a lot of people say it was about 150 meters high. Here once again is a picture of it. I knew they wouldn't have one, so I brought one with me. They say that the castle was about 150 meters high, and it was very impressive. At 50 meters, sorry, not 150, 50 meters high, and if you can imagine, all of the buildings around were no higher than maybe 5 or 10 meters high, like 2 stories at most. So this was a very impressive structure in the center of the city. What was at that time called Edo and changed to Tokyo in the 19th century. So for most of its history, this was called this Edo. And for most of the history, the emperor was not situated here in Tokyo, but down in Kyoto, which is why you'll see a lot of really impressive temples and structures there. So let me take you back down, and I'm going to show you some of the park. I do appreciate everybody who might be correcting some of my history. Again, look down into the comments after this live stream or back at the chat, and you'll be able to see some extra information people are always adding in, which makes these streams so useful. He's a samurai with his bottle of Coca-Cola. On the hunt. All right. Don't think he's from around here. So this open area, I like to come. Once again, this park, this garden is free to enter. It's open, I believe, from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. is the last entrance, and it closes at 5. You have to be out of here by 5, and they have security guards that come in and will kick you out, because I've been kicked out before. You know why? Because I would sit here on the grass and fall asleep after doing a job or something, and the security guard would come and tap me on the shoulder and would wake me up, and then I would leave, catch my train. It's a really, this grass is more like hay, but it's really soft. It's very closely cut, and since we're just coming out of winter, the grass looks not so green, but in a few months it'll come back to green. That doesn't stop people coming here and relaxing, artists drawing pictures. It is a really beautiful day. The weather is about 19 degrees Fahrenheit, Celsius, which is roughly, I don't know, 60-ish Fahrenheit for everybody in the US. You're gonna see in this park, which is famous for the ume blossoms, this here. That is not a sakura tree. That's not the cherry blossoms. They're not out yet, but they're getting closer and closer. That is an ume blossom, or plum tree, and they bloom about a month earlier than the cherry blossoms. There's many varieties of cherry blossoms. That bloom at different times of the year, so they're usually staggered between. You'll see some blossoms at the middle and end of March, and then you'll see some blooming a little bit later into a week or 10 days into April. So if you come to Japan, you'll always be able to find cherry blossoms somewhere. Okay, let's go take a look here. Yeah, so that might be a cherry blossom. This is another variety. Usually there's a little sign. I don't like to touch it too much, but very delicate there. It smells great. And this tree is not at full bloom. It's still got some buds on. I hear a lot of Chinese language. A lot of Chinese here today. Last time I was in the park, it was maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and there weren't that many non-Japanese, and it's kind of amazing. All right, let me look back. It's cool to see everybody coming from all around the world. I'm pretty sure that Japan is going to be ready for the Olympics. I'm going to look back now, and this is sort of where this picture was taken. Once again, everybody who's joining, this is Edo Castle, and I believe this is maybe close to the angle that we can see. The base right there is in the center, and that's where Edo Castle, called Tokyo Castle for a couple of years after the Meiji Restoration in 1868. Yeah. So everyone who's studying Japanese history might get a kick out of that, because it doesn't exist anymore, but it sort of does. It's the ruins. The ruins exist, and it's sort of cool to come here. I've checked it out. I don't have the same kind of excitement, like, oh, it's a ruin, it's a castle, but it's not there, so it's not as exciting. It is worth a visit, especially if you're into Japanese history. There you go. It's beautiful. Very nice. Not quite there yet. My question to you, is there anybody out there that's going to be coming for the cherry blossoms in Japan between the end of March and the beginning of April? I'm going to be on set up an event on Facebook, so anybody who wants to come out and probably meet either in Yoyogi Park or one of the parks around Tokyo for a little bit, and you can come out and say hi. It's really a special time of the year. I'm going to try to make some time for you. Not quite sure the date, but it'll be either in the beginning of April or the end of March, when the cherry blossoms are at a peak time. And I made a promise to everybody that if our Patreon page, where supporters will help to support me financially, if we reach 300 supporters and hit a certain mark, then I would do 30 streams in 30 days. And so far I've done 4 in like 3 days, so we were doing pretty good with this. So I'm going to try to do a live stream every day, or maybe 2 in one day and take a break, but there's going to be 30 live streams this month. And that's good timing. You know why? Because we got the cherry blossoms here. It's hard to focus. Come on, iPhone. It really is beautiful. I'm going to walk around the park now, kind of let you take in the ambient sounds. It's not that big of a park. Once again, it's free, and it's in the center of the city, so it's worth coming around for a look. I'm going to walk around the park now for a couple of minutes, just take in the ambient sounds and enjoy. Once again, that's where Edo Castle used to be, and now it's gone. Ever since 1873. They never rebuilt it because the power of government was out of the shogun, and there was no purpose for castle. And then during World War II, the entire city of Tokyo was pretty much destroyed, and there was nothing to build. There was no resources to build the castle that nobody ever needed. And Tokyo government, I guess maybe one day they will recreate Edo Castle, because it'd be an amazing attraction or amazing sight to see in the city. It's a pride of the city of Tokyo, but there's just not enough resources, or there's never really was a reason why people wanted to rebuild Edo Castle. Osaka has a castle, but they had better luck than Tokyo, and because Tokyo was the power where the government's power was located, it was a symbol not to have the castle and to move on after the Meiji Restoration. Osaka is a city of merchants, and Tokyo is a city of political power. Oh, English announcement. there's an event at 3:45 p.m. in English. That's pretty interesting. They never had that before. English announcements. Did you hear that? They usually say it twice in a really slow, clear voice. The city of Tokyo has a lot of speakers around. You'll see that. And when there is a tsunami or an earthquake or some sort of natural disaster, they'll put out an alarm that I heard during the Great Tohoku earthquake in, wow, it's been seven years now, in 2011, March 11th. And we had a lot of announcements for tsunami warnings or what to do. And they would announce on these speakers that are all over the place. And they use it also to notify you when things are closing, or for information sometimes. Or they test it out with sirens every now and then to make sure they're working. All right, we're getting into a place where this is where the garden of Edo Castle used to be. It's still in existence. It's not quite as big and as grand as it used to be because Tokugawa Ieyasu, he spared no expenses. He really went all out when he created the garden. And this is still the same path, the same road. You can see some of the walls still exist as we're coming down from where the castle was situated into the gardens around it. Now the walls, the moats of Tokyo Castle, Edo Castle, they went around the city. Actually, Tokyo Station, which is where it is right now, was inside of the moat way back when. It would have been inside of the moat. But today, there's no real reasons to have a moat anymore. So Tokyo Station is outside of the moat. Wow. There's Otemachi. And Tokyo Station is over there, right there. It's a beautiful day in Tokyo. You can see we've just left the castle moat, the inner sanctum of Edo-jo, and we're outside. And I believe there was some ume blossoms to the left, or they might have finished. Oh, there they are. Okay, there they are. You see them? We're gonna walk down there. That's one of my favorite spots in Tokyo in the end of February. Let's take a look at this map for those of you who are joining me right now. Thanks everybody for tuning in all around the world. I know everybody's at different times. Stone wall between Baidinzaka Slope and Shiomizaka Slope. Interesting. There's a lot of restoration going on. So in an old site like this, I see it all over Japan. They're always finding ways after earthquakes or before earthquakes to try to find ways to protect the castle or the cultural artifacts or heritage here. I mean, it's important that we don't lose any more to earthquakes. Interesting. That's a Japanese kid. You can tell because he's speaking Japanese. Long time no hear Japanese language is pretty funny. I'd say about 75% of the people who were up there at the castle ruins were either Western or from China, because I heard about 50% of the language was Chinese, which it's hard for me to tell if it's Cantonese or Mandarin, but it was definitely not Japanese, of course. This is nice. Check it out. So the garden has some all different kinds of trees, and in the distance there's a building. Really nice. See if I can center it for you. And let me take you to the plum blossoms over there. On the left is the old wall of Edo Castle. Oh, I see Gretchen's in the house. Hey, Gretchen from Arizona. I'm glad you can join me. This is definitely a special treat. We're outside of the house here, checking out these ume blossoms, and now here, you can see it all really opening up. Thank you, Eric, as well. You're very welcome. You can see some of the ume blossoms have either fallen. It's actually just starting to blossom, this one. Look at this. This is pretty good timing. Oh, it smells so good. Wow. There's an official app that's free. They never had this before either. I guess if you want to, if you guys push, if you want to find it, you could push pause on the video and scan that QR code and get it, I guess. It gives you free information about the place. And there's always professional photographers out here taking pictures, because this is a really beautiful corner. Just a preview of what we're going to be getting in about 3 weeks from now. Wow. I'm surprised they don't tell you the variety of tree this is. Doesn't say the variety. Wow, very beautiful. I like that with the castle wall in the background. Wow, it smells so nice. The only way to describe the smell would be to say blossomy. It's like flowery. There's not too many words that I can use to describe the smell other than it smells like a garden and it smells really nice. Better than the smog that I had walking over here. Wow, look at how beautiful it is. This is definitely a different variety of cherry blossom. I do apologize if the resolution is not perfect. It's a live stream from the city center. We're kind of down into the bottom of the moat. Hopefully the signal will get a little bit stronger. This one is pink. Once again, I'm sorry I can't tell you the variety. I thought there would be, usually there's a sign on the tree. We don't have that here. Really beautiful. Kirei. そうですね。綺麗ですね。とっても綺麗です。素敵。That's right. In Japanese, we'd say 綺麗。綺麗です。It's 綺麗。It's beautiful. Hmm. この桜はとっても綺麗ですね。あ、桜じゃないでしょ。梅でしょ。これ梅でしょ。あ、梅ですね。すみません。はい、I've confirmed. 確認しました。This is 梅。梅 blossom. I wish we had some music, but maybe just the ambient sound is enough. It's 19 degrees Celsius today. Mostly sunny. Not as many on the trees. Let me make it to the other side. We'll do one more pass. Here's a view of this entire corner I like to come to. Almost every year I come here. It's been a couple of years since my last visit. Here's what it looks like. You see there was a patrol officer that just went by. So this corner kind of starts here and it wraps around like this. And it's just really beautiful. And the reason why I like the ume blossoms is that they bloom a month earlier than the cherry blossoms, and it's just like that prelude to what's to come. And if you're watching this live with me right now, this is what's to come. It gets much, much, much cooler and better, and you're gonna be shocked. Well, I did live stream this last year, but you're gonna be shocked when you see the city in about 3 weeks from now. So I hope you do subscribe and get those notifications, because it's just gonna be absolutely mind-blowing, some of the places I'm gonna take you. Last year I wasn't here in Tokyo to bring you to the more beautiful places in the city, and this year I'm gonna stream from as many as I possibly can, sometimes in the middle of the night when we have the place all to ourselves. I'm gonna bring some really bright lights and just make the experience come to life for you. So, oh, there's a little bug on the, you see that? Is that a tentomushi? Tentomushi is a ladybug, we would say in Japanese. Tentomushi. You know, I think it's a tentomushi, a little ladybug on there. And everyone will come and take a picture. They'll reach as high as they can to get that perfect blossom up there. This is as high as I can reach. All right, that's about it. So there you have it. This is the garden. This is a very short 30-minute live stream. I'll stream for a couple more minutes, but the history of Edo-jo, for those who are joining us. This is the old Tokyo castle, Edo Castle. And just to put a ribbon on this all, the reason why Tokyo does not have a castle is because of history. The castle was built in 1457 by Ota Dokan, who I introduced you to in a stream a couple of days ago at the Edo-jo to Ginza Station Walk. You got to see a statue of him. He built this in the 15th century, and the Shogun Tokugawa Ieyasu resided here when he was the shogun. This is a map of the area. It's officially called now in English East Gardens of the Imperial Palace. And when the Meiji Restoration occurred in 1868, there's no more use for Edo Castle, so it was abandoned. The shogun was asked to vacate the premises. He was evicted, and 5 years later, it burned down. And it was never reconstructed because of just the timing of it all. There was no need for a castle because the shogun was out, and there was no time to really rebuild it. And when the war came, during the aggressive years, there was no money to rebuild the castle, even though there's a lot of pride in it. Then World War II came and demolished everything that was in this area, except for maybe these stone walls that you can see to my left and right. And to this day now, after World War II, during the reconstruction, there really wasn't much need to rebuild a historical structure. People just wanted to get housing. They needed to get homes. They needed to rebuild roads and bridges, and that took priority all the way up to the 60s and 70s. And then in the 1980s, during the bubble era, well, people were just having fun. They were rich for once, right? They had money. I think it was like $1 was ridiculously cheap here in Japan, and there was no need to really rebuild the castle either then. But I think with the 2020 Olympics, I think it is a little bit sad not to have that reminder of the past, not to have Edo Castle there and just have the ruins. In a massive city like Tokyo, not to have that as its identity, whether it was during the reconstruction where maybe the occupation didn't want to have any symbols of the past and wanted to leave it the way it was. Either way, I think it's sort of a neat way to come here and see what used to be of the city of Edo. And with the walls that we have around here, you get kind of that feel of what Edo was probably like. A little bit of a feel of what Edo probably was like 150, 200 years ago, which is pretty cool. And who knows, after the 2020 Olympics, with all of the tourists coming, the tourist numbers to Tokyo have quadrupled, if not like 4, 5, or 6 times more. We might have interest in rebuilding Tokyo Castle once again. It would stand, as you can see right up here, 50 meters into the sky, a high towering castle just like Osaka, but bigger, because this is Tokyo, and Tokyo does it big when it does it all. That's the city of Tokyo. With the Olympics coming, it is exciting. I'm glad I made a live stream, which you can, not a live stream, but I made a video on the main channel where you can take a look at the construction of the Olympic Stadium, which is happening right now. You can see the whole shape of the Olympic Stadium, and that right now I guess would be pretty close to being the castle of Tokyo, because it is pretty much in the center of the city, and it is an amazing structure designed by Kengo Kuma and his associates, who I hope to meet really soon, because I got a chance to meet with Kengo Kuma a few months ago. Really nice guy, really tired guy from working a lot, but I would like to hear his take on his design. Last look at the map here. Once again, this is the Honmaru, or the grounds that we were in earlier. This is where the castle was located, and these are the gardens, and this is where the ume blossoms were. Bairin Zaka. And I'm now right here. This is where I'm getting out. There's more gardens that I think you can go into if you want to see these aren't, that's where I showed you looking here. You can see the building here. There's more gardens. I want you to come and explore that yourself. I think I should leave something for you to want to come back. Make sure you keep your ticket. This is what I took when I got in here. So I'm going to give it to the man right now, and we're out of here. Arigatou gozaimashita.
Admission ticket.
It's free. It's free. They're not from around here either. Wow. So, that's the experience. That's the experience, and this is a really beautiful time of year. Things start coming back to life. You see the duckies going around the moat. It's still pretty quiet. It's a Sunday afternoon. There's not that much to see. It's a wonderful place for a stroll, though. It's a place where you can relax. It's quiet in here. It's really a big contrast. If I walk about 5-10 minutes this way, it's really loud and really polluted. I wouldn't say polluted, but it's just, you can smell the hyki gas or the exhaust from the cars. But here it's a natural place. It's like Meiji Shrine. Well, if you go to Meiji Shrine, you're one moment you're in the center of Harajuku, which is a really loud, bustling place. The next moment, everything just goes quiet and it gets dark, and all around you is a canopy of evergreen trees, and it's just a power spot, you know. Meiji Shrine is sort of a really special place, and so is this. Kitamaru Park is where the Budokan is. That's where the judo and karate events will be taking place. And that's where I saw Eric Clapton do an unplugged concert a few years ago, which is so cool. He was here with, who was he? He was Eric Clapton and another Eric, I think. Gosh, that was 10 years ago? Wow. This is another entrance that you can come into. I choose to exit this way, 'cause I'm a rebel and a spy. Oh, I shouldn't have said that so loudly. Arigatou gozaimashita. And here's the drawbridge. And you can hear already, I didn't have to walk for 10 minutes, I just had to walk for 1 minute, and I'm already... And you can tell how quickly the sound changes and we're back into the city. I do have to say, since I'm here, and this live streams, they always seem to kind of go on a little bit longer than I say they are. The loop around the Imperial Palace is breathtakingly beautiful. It's quiet in most parts. It's really cool. Everybody goes this way. You can see them running. And it's 5 kilometers, exactly 5 kilometers, I believe. You can run around the Imperial Palace. I've done it many, many times. My friend Joseph runs and practices the marathon. These people are leaving the course, but you'll be able to see just tons of people here will do the loop. And running around if you're a runner or you like to exercise, you come out here in the morning and you really get a sense of the city, the local vibe by running around with I guess it's like a few thousand people are out here running the 5-kilometer loop. Do 2 loops, do 10K, and you can go out and eat until you drop. Kuidaore. I would run, but I've actually hurt the bottom of my foot, and I've been off of running for a few days, for a few months actually, which you can see reflected in my eating habits and lack of exercise. But I should be back running this month. You do have to be careful, or else the runners will hit you. They come in pretty fast, and they come in large groups. But it's good. So one last look back at where we came from. The link in the description will tell you exactly where I was. It's open from 9 a.m. to last entry at 4:30 p.m. You have to leave by 5. Take a ticket, don't lose it, and it's free. It's free. Check out the old Tokyo castle for free. Bye, everybody. Thanks for the super chats. Time to get some cake and coffee and oh, thanks Patricia. Thank you, Kula Onion, Joash, Carlos, Deborah, everybody. Bye bye.